We are diving into the heart of the off-season grind with the Land O'Lakes Gators. June is all about strength and speed and building the foundation of this 2025 team. We'll hear from Coach Goodspeed and some of the team's emerging leaders about how the squad is pushing through the heat and locking in for the big season ahead.
I feel like our group has really good chemistry. Most of us have been playing together for a while. We all know each other. I feel like we all have some sort of bond off the field.
Oh, I would say the chemistry is great. We're all friends. We all hang out and have a good time and laugh and enjoy our time out here. So I say the chemistry is great out here.
You know, I think that we're great from quarterbacks communicating to the O-line communicating with themselves, quarterbacks to receivers. I think we're a great team. You know, everybody likes to stay communicated and all that. You know, I think we have good chemistry.
I've been working a lot on route running, getting in and out of my breaks faster, and bringing down because I ran a 4.540, so I'm trying to get down to a 4.4.
I just want to get better at football in general. I mean, I want to do my best to stay consistent and just kind of keep at a rising pace, I guess, going up, getting 1% better every day.
For the summer, for me, it was really gaining size and speed, trying to drop my 40 and gain some weight, get stronger.
I see Isaiah as a great leader. He's always pushing everybody past their limits, and he's doing a phenomenal job himself.
Xavier likes to have a good time. He jokes a little bit, but he's definitely a hard worker. He sets the tone for the receiver. He's a leader.
Chance Houston, he's a great guy, man. He's really smart on and off the field, respectable guy, and he's a hard worker.
All right, welcome into the Gator Report. I'm happy to announce we have a new sponsor and supporter.
It's an amazing one, and to be able to get Planet Smoothie to work with our athletes on recovery and nutritional supplementation is outstanding. I'm glad they're helping with us. I'm so grateful because I think at the end of the day, after a hard summer's workout on the field, I think just getting those nutrients back into our athletes' bodies is amazing, and it's nice and easy because they taste good, and so they're easy to take and have right after a hard workout. So I'm grateful. It's an amazing partnership, and it's only going to benefit our boys. So if any of our Gator fans can get out and support Planet Smoothie.
Yeah, this is the one off of Collier Boulevard. So yeah, definitely want everybody to go out there and let them know that you're from Land O'Lakes High School and you watch the Gator Report. That would be super helpful. Yep. And then maybe we can get out there and do one of these podcasts from the store one of these days.
I would absolutely love it. I mean, such an amazing tool for us to have in the program.
Cool. So today we want to kind of combine our May and June. So I didn't get to talk to you since the spring game. We did do a little pregame, which was super cool. So appreciate the Buccaneers, letting us do that on their track and stuff. That was really nice.
Yeah, and Coach Jesse did a nice job with it, and we appreciate that.
So real quick before we dive into June and the summer program, just looking back on that spring game, did you accomplish, well, I know we talked beforehand that, there are multiple goals in the spring game. One of them is to win. So check there.
For the most part, you want to take a look at what you have and where you're going to be and how we need to plug holes and what we need to work on. I was really happy with what the offense did, especially in our pass protection, because going against it, I think we saw it early on. The defensive line we have is very, very good.
Yes.
And they're aggressive and they're coming from every angle, and they caused a lot of pressure and some problems for golf. But we've been practicing against that. So we were frustrated a little bit in spring practice because, they were doing such a great job against us, but it's, the old iron sharpens iron.
Right.
We got better.
Yeah.
And for that, you could see, and the quarterback had a lot of time to throw the football for the most part. And that's what I really wanted to see, how we were going to respond to, being able to pass protect. We have a young running back in Isaiah Orr. We wanted to see what he could do if he was going to run downhill. He had a couple nice catches and ran the ball well for us. Defensively, I thought the secondary played really good. I thought linebackers, we did all right. We're still learning some things there. But I think overall, pretty good offense and defense. Now, special teams. We still need to work and find the right guys on special teams.
Yeah,
but, most times you don't even do special teams in the spring game. Usually it's a kick and it's dead. Wherever you take the ball from where you kind of predetermined to be at. But Coach Epper, Jesse, and I, we wanted to work on our special teams because I think that's, another facet of the game that we could be better in. Punt return, pretty good. We need to get better at kickoff return, no question.
Yeah. Special teams was something that early on last year, in my mind, was the difference in a couple ball games, not necessarily in our favor. So, and then it sort of gets straightened out towards the end of the season. So, putting that emphasis on that and making sure we don't lose. There's 3 facets to this game, right?
That's right.
So,
you want to be able to at least win 2 of them.
That's right. Anybody that elevated their stock in the spring game, I noticed D lineman Evan got in the backfield a couple of times. He's a guy that we didn't see on varsity last year. But that was just my observation. Anybody?
No, I agree with you. We had some young guys step up pretty big. Evan Ritchie, AJ, he did a good job. And across the board on offensive line. We've lost a few guys to graduating seniors.
Right.
One's going to be tough to fill. Skeeter, Brendan Thompson, I thought he did a great job for us. I thought he's a phenomenal guard, violent and all that. So we got to find those guys. But Davies, he did a really good job for us. I think he really fits the part, and I think he's got a bright future for him. Bryce Norrie did a great job at left tackle for us. And then there's Grayson. He's been up for varsity for the past 3 years, and I think he's really taken the next step.
All right, well, now we're in June, so we're diving into the grind.
Yeah, well, the grind because of the heat.
Yeah.
It's thick out there.
So it's this is the time of year when it's about strength, speed. They're building on the bodies, the things that you can't necessarily do during the season, right? So, what does a typical day, week look like for the players? For folks that don't know.
Yeah, so we go Monday through Thursday. I want the boys to be able to have that long weekend. It's summer. I want them to be able to take the time and enjoy their time because I think a lot of people miss the component of rest. It's such a big thing. There's only so many energy systems in the body, and if I'm taking that from you all day and we're going as hard as we need to go, there needs to be rest. So we go Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 10. Get in and out quick before the heat, really bears down on you. And it's a component of now lifting, but kind of different than what we did in spring. Spring, we were trying to bulk up, get that extra weight, move heavy weights. Now we're turning it to more of an explosive, pattern of what we're doing in the weight room to kind of mirror what's going on the field. We're working more explosive things and making sure that we're flying around in that speed component. Okay. And then, kind of teaching a little bit of drills here and there to do conditioning with.
7-on-7 tournaments on the plan for?
We haven't done any yet. We'll see what we can do to get together with some other teams over the course of the summer. But again, it's summertime, and I want the boys to be able to travel with families. They need to be here every day, but I understand it's a component of summer that you need to be with your family too. Some of these boys are going to be graduating and moving on, and they have to have some good family time too.
Yeah, I saw a lot of guys attending some camps. Yeah. Some guys really showing up in these camps.
And that's what I've encouraged them to do, to get out, to kind of get their name out. I'm pushing their name out in the back end. We have our website for recruiting. I'm always sending out prospect sheets because, that's part of one of the pillars of success for this program is if we have a guy that can play football and desires to, then we want to make sure that every avenue is looked at so they can play college football.
Yeah.
And part of that is going to the camps. And I think it's, they start a little bit younger, so they get the experience of going there because it's not easy just to roll in and there's a whole bunch of, other student athletes there going through. You got to learn how to fight for reps. You got to learn how to show up. You got to learn to be able to shake a hand and talk to a coach. And all those components are important of it.
Yeah.
They're going all over the place. And we had some schools come in during the spring and look at our guys and say, hey, we'd like to see them at this camp. And we did that. But for me, I actually went down. A couple of our guys went to the shorter one down at the Skyway. So I was down there, and it was great because my wife was with us, and my kids, because they wanted to see the boys compete. And we loved every minute. It was great to see them doing. And I think the first thing that jumped off was they were hustling around and making sure they're first in line and getting those reps, and that's what it's about.
It is. I remember, Coach, I remember my son and my buddy's sons going to those camps, and you're right. I mean, if you aren't aggressive, you can get shuffled back in the line. You don't get as many reps. There's a lot of competition there that you might think that you're super good, and then you go to some mega camp at FSU or wherever, and then you start seeing there's a whole bunch of other competition out there. So I think it's really good for them.
Well, sure. It's one to get seen and then kind of measure up to see where you're at and see if it's realistic at the schools you're looking at, and then put yourself in the best position to market yourself to those schools and division level.
Right.
And I think it was great. I really enjoyed watching them run around shorter. And the other part of it too is just walking up to coaches and talking to them. Had a great conversation with the head coach at Shorter University. And he came and talked to our boys, and we all stayed there. There was a group of 5 of us standing there. And I mean, great personality from his coach. Loved his energy, and gave the boys some tips. Talked to them, and they shook hands and spoke professionally. And that's a component that we're looking for.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I'm imagining there's not a lot of evaluation done in the summer. You're not in pads or anything like that, but. Is there any guys that have kind of caught your eye?
Well, there is a component of evaluation, right? Because we could see how they move and how they're responding in the weight room. Is there a guy when we say, hey, we need 5 guys running, who's jumping up? Just like we're talking about the camps.
Right.
Who's getting in the front of the line? Who wants those? Who's fighting for those reps?
Right.
And I tell them all the time, if you're just standing in the back, especially for our young guys, right? The freshmen are still learning what high school football is all about. I want them competing, right? If they think they're better than the person in front of them, then go get it.
Yeah.
It don't matter if you're a freshman or a senior. Whoever the best guy is going to be on the field to help the whole team win.
Yeah.
That'll be the guy in the field. So yes, there is that component of evaluation. I want to see the guys who are aggressive and looking for that. I want to see the guys that are here, every day working. Granted, it is summer. We want them to take some time off. But if you're not on a vacation, you're here, right? You're here getting better. And I show it to all the other teams or all the other players that, hey, this guy's accountable. He's here. This guy's not here. He's not accountable. So there is a evaluation process going on.
Right. I'll ask you, I asked some of the players today, and I'll ask you the same thing. And, is there anybody setting the tone in the weight room? Is there anybody that's kind of emerged as a leader vocally or otherwise? It's really like that's what we need more of, guys like that.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this before the spring game. I think that's the biggest difference from this team than the previous year's teams. There's some, when we'd work out, there'd be guys just kind of huddled up in small groups here and there. Now it's like everybody's kind of pulling together and making the other guys accountable to what they're doing because they know, hey, if we're going to win, it's going to take 11 football players, right? And I don't need the best ones, I need the right ones, right? I need the ones that'll work great together, and that's just how football works. And so the guys that kind of jump out to me right away, I think Grayson's doing a great job leading the offensive line guys, pushing them. I think Clemente's doing a great job with the receivers and being vocal, but not only being vocal, but showing up every day and doing what he's supposed to do.
Right.
I think he turned in a 4.54 at the shorter camp. I mean, that's great for him. I mean, great for the position. It's a great number. But he's been working his butt off to get to there, and it shows. I think on defense, Jake's been doing a great job. Dom's doing a great job. Christian Volstead. Now he's doing baseball and football right now, and we want that because he's just a phenomenal athlete.
Right.
But when he's here, he's always a leader, and he kind of there's a void when he's gone. You can really feel it kind of take the air out of the room when he's not there.
Yeah.
But then other guys will step up until Josh is doing a great job at corner, making sure his guys are accountable. So it's actually a really good feeling and a different feel to where we're at. And I mentioned those guys, but there's a lot of young guys that are pulling for it too because now they're being taught, and that's how you program build.
Yep, exactly. So speaking of the young guys, so hopefully we've got some new viewership with a freshman class of some of their parents might be watching this for the first time. So tell us what they can look forward to as we go from June to July in the summer program.
Yeah, no, so as we transition, we'll start moving more towards speed stuff, as a workout. But I mean, it's just the same thing. It's consistency and every day getting a little bit better and a little better, the old adage. But the other side of it we're trying to develop is that teamwork feeling, that belonging mentality. Right now they feel like the freshmen feel like they're kind of on the outside and they're kind of timid to, where they want to go. But, we're going to assimilate them as fast as possible and start getting them into the football mindset. Because as soon as we hit, July 28th, I believe is our opening date for training camp, and we won't hit the ground running because it's, 2.5 weeks until Lake Mineola, and then we're right into it.
Yep.
So we want to make sure we're doing, the components of prehab, rehab, making sure that we're ready to go for when it's time to hit. But then as soon as we hit with, we're ready to go with our acclimation period and then getting into pads, I mean, we just want to we're hitting, we're ready to go. And getting ready for Lake Mineola and then, the grind that is the season. And it feels like, you spend so much time working out and speed training, explosive, all that stuff, and then 10 games go by like that.
Yep.
So, and we want to put ourselves in a position this year to get those extra games for our seniors.
Okay. I think you have some volunteer days we're coming up here to work on the stadium. I don't remember those dates off the top of my head. Do you have them?
Well, you see, we all have a boss, right? And it's my wife. She coordinates most of that stuff with Gina, our touchdown club president.
Sure.
Which is doing a great job. But our goal is what we want to do is kind of rehab and refurbish what we're doing in the stadium.
Yep.
Throw a fresh coat of paint. Make it a little bit nicer for us. We have 7 home games this year, which we're really excited about, and we want to make it, nice for our boys. I mean, it's, our goal is to have a great Friday night, and that's part of it. And I think if we freshen it up a little bit, it'll have a great look, and it'll be a place that you really want to defend.
Yeah. So we'll get those dates posted. Probably be on the screen here when we issue this episode out. So if you got time to come out and help with pulling weeds, painting, all the stuff to really freshen up the stadium and get it ready.
And it's not just a football thing. It's going to be, something that's made nice for soccer, for flag football, for lacrosse, for all the teams that use the stadium.
Yep.
We just want to freshen up for all of us, and give this athletic season, all the way from fall to next spring, something nice to look at in our stadium.
Yeah, and it's a good chance for people to get together anyway, meet each other, because you're going to be sitting next to each other in the stadium. Eventually, anyway, so
exactly.
You can reminisce about the days of painting and whatnot.
In the heat.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's really all I wanted to talk about today. I appreciate you sitting down with us, as usual, and so grateful that we have a partner for our summer Gator report. In Planet Smoothie. I will endeavor to get some of your time in July. And in August, leading up, and we'll really dive into the schedule a little bit next podcast, because we want to talk about some of these teams that we haven't necessarily faced before, and that sort of thing. But
and we probably should do it at Planet Smoothie.
Yeah,
I would love it.
That's a great idea.
I'd love it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we'll have it there, and then we'll have a preview of the season.
Awesome.
Because we're very grateful that they're on board with us.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Well, thanks so much.
Appreciate your time.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.
A big thanks to Coach Goodspeed and our players for joining us. Summer training is just getting started, and the Gators are gaining some steam. Stay connected with us through July as we get closer to fall camp. Go Gators.